Hi, I'm Benjamin, author of 18 math modeling books and assessment books that you can find popular and used by thousands of students. But today, I'm not here to teach you math. If that's what you want to learn, I have lots of other videos. Subscribe and watch the other videos. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make a wise decision based on your PSLE result. Now, I'm sure many of you here are very, very excited or very concerned about your school choices. And I'm here to help you make the wisest choice so that you do not regret the next 4 to 6 years of your life. Okay, so without much further ado, these are the things to consider. All right, now you want to consider all these things. First, you want to consider the cutoff point, followed by the distance, your extracurricular activities that you'll be taking part in, and then in the end, being realistic. I'll explain what being realistic is at the end of this video. So let's go to the first point. The first point is your ALCOT or your achievement level cutoff point. Now, in Singapore, the selection of schools is based on merit. In other words, the better you do, the better the schools you get into in terms of cutoff point. Okay? Now, this should not be your only determinant, but if this is the only thing you're going to consider, then these are the things you should do. For your first two choices, what you want to do is you want to try for schools that are about 1 to 3 points above what you think, above your AL score. For example, if your AL score is 10 and you see a school that is 8 or 9, and you think that that will be the cutoff point, you can try for that in your first two choices. Okay, so these should be schools that are slightly above your AL score and you want to go to, but you're not sure that you can. But does this mean that the other choices are not important? Of course not. The other choices are just as important. For your third and fourth choice, you should be choosing a school that is exactly at your AL score based on what you see in your booklet. Okay, these are schools that you want to get into, confident of getting into because they are at your AL score. And these are schools, of course, that you don't mind getting into. Now comes the last two choices, 5 and 6. And you may think that these are not important, but they are terribly important. Let me explain to you why. The fifth and sixth choice is your insurance. It is your safety net. And this is the school that is below your AL score, but you definitely will be able to get into should your first 4 choices fail. What should you consider? Number 1, this school should be a school that is near to you, so that you do not have to travel a lot. And secondly, it must be a school that you do not mind getting into. Now, all these things that I've said so far are purely based on your AL score, but there are other factors, as I've explained over here. The next one is distance. Does distance matter? Yes, it really matters. Why? You see, being in primary school means that you are probably living quite near your school. But then for secondary school, you might end up very far away from school, especially if these are schools that you prefer to get to. This is a very, very important consideration because you will have to wake up very, very early if you have to travel far away. So if you have to travel 1.5 hours each way to school and back from school, this means that you have to wake up very, very early and you will come back late from school. It also means that you'll be tired. It will affect your ability to do your work, your homework, your assignments. You might be handing them up late because you're too tired to finish them. And it also will mean that sometimes you will be late for school. You cannot afford to wake up late at all. And for secondary schools, they are very, very strict when it comes to being punctual in school. Okay, so these are things that you definitely want to consider. Distance is a very important aspect. Now we come to the next point. The next point is your extracurricular activities. For the extracurricular activities, your extracurricular activities in school will play a major role in your life because aside from your studies, these are the places where you make friends and activities that you will get to enjoy and learn from. Okay, that you'll get leadership positions in and will also affect your selection after you finish secondary school, selection of the next level of schools, be a JC or a poly. Now, you have to look out for schools that offer what you enjoy doing. But also keep in mind that if the school is particularly good at a certain sport or activity, for example, band or tennis or soccer or anything that you want to get into, if they are very good at this, and if you are not that good, okay, you have to be realistic about this, you might not be able to get into that activity even though you're in that school. So you have to balance this, okay? Look for a school that has the activity that you want, understand your own ability, and decide based on your ability whether you fit that school in that sense. Now, the last and most important thing is the reality. Do you really want to be in a school that you just managed to get into based on your AL score? Okay, why am I saying this? You see, we live in a realistic world where schools need to produce results. And just as there are coaches, tennis players, and lawyers who are better in what they do than others in their profession, other coaches, tennis players, and lawyers, then for teachers, it's the same thing. There are teachers who are better at teaching than other teachers. And since schools need to produce results, where do you think they are going to place these teachers? In the better or the lower classes? You decide. And if you choose to go to a school based on the minimum cutoff point, that means the cutoff point, for example, is 12, and you just meet the criteria and you get into 12, where do you think you'll be placed? If you just make it, do you think that the class that you get into will get the best teachers? Where do you think the best teachers are going to be placed? And teachers make a big difference in how you will do in secondary school. So consider all these aspects wisely. Now, as I said, for all the other aspects for maths and for learning resources, please subscribe to my channel. If you found this to be very, very useful, please leave a comment to encourage me to do more of this. And I wish you the best and good luck in your choice of schools. Okay, so see you next time. Bye-bye.